Oh, if you're on a Mac, your screen looks a little different. Do you have an orientation button? I can't see from here. Yeah, so it's the same thing. Okay. So you got two orientations, portrait and landscape. The other thing that you need to be aware of is the color mode. Make sure that it's always on CMYK. And I think it will always be on CMYK. It stands for cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. We're going to get to that in a couple weeks. So now our monitors are landscape. So I like to use landscape when I use Illustrator, but you don't have to. If you're depending on the type of document you're doing, you can use portrait. It doesn't matter. I'm going to use landscape, and let's click OK. All right, so everybody got a new document?
Yep.
Okay, here's a new keyboard shortcut. If you have any scribbles or anything like that, delete that document and make a new one. How do you delete the document? Control W. Don't save. Just make a new document. I want you guys to do exactly what I do. Don't go off on your own right now. I'll let you go off on your own in a few minutes. In fact, I'm going to want you to. Okay, but just do exactly what I do. All right, so once you start a new document, the first keyboard shortcut that I want to show you is Control 0. It may not do anything because we just started up, but here's the next one. Right next to the 0 is Control minus. Hit that 2 or 3 times. Hold down Control, type a minus. Now do Control plus. Now do Control plus and minus. What does that do? Reduces the size. Close. Okay, it changes the view. It's the magnification. It just changes the view. Okay, so now do Control 0. And what does that do? Resets it, brings it out to full screen. So no matter where you're at, what you're doing, you can always do Control 0 to bring it back out to full screen. Okay, so sometimes students say, Mr. P, I can't find my work. It's because they're either zoomed in too far or zoomed in too close. Okay, so that rectangle that we're looking at right here is a regular piece of paper. That's what's going to be printed. If you do Control minus a couple times, you'll notice that there's a white area outside of that rectangle, and that's called your artboard. And it's possible for you to have objects outside of the artboard here that won't be printed. So whatever's inside of this rectangle right here will come out of the printer. So it's possible for you to design objects that go halfway on and halfway off. So if I wanted to make like a moon, I could put the moon sort of like over here in this area, and it will look like it's halfway on the paper. Okay, again, stay with me, don't mess with any tools, don't do anything, and I'm doing this for your benefit, honestly. Okay, because if you mess something up, you're going to be lost and you're not going to know what you're doing. Yeah.
Is it always going to be a square shape?
Yes. Okay, that will always be there. You can't delete that. If it looks like it's not there, then all you have to do is Control 0 on your keyboard to bring it back out.
I'm talking about like even making them different shapes, like it's a shape.
Excuse me? I didn't hear you.
Like it's just a square, or can you change it to like a triangle or something?
No, that's not a shape. That's a piece of paper. That's what's going to come out of the printer. Okay. All right, so we got those. Control 0, Control plus, Control minus. Okay, Illustrator is divided into 4 sections. The first section we just talked about, and that's the artboard right here. The artboard can be moved around. This document can be moved around. The artboard can also be minimized. So this first button here in this window is minimize. When you click that, then it drops it down to the bottom of your screen. And if you notice here on mine, I got like 5 documents open. You guys don't have any documents open. So when you minimize, it's not going to go anywhere. Or excuse me, you're only going to have 1 document there. The next button next to it is maximize. That brings your document back out to Illustrator. But you'll notice you can't see the other documents behind it. But if you click on that middle button again, see where it says restore down? That'll float your artboard, and now you can move it out of the way and you can see those other documents if you have more behind it. Okay, we all good? Okay, next is your toolbar. Over on the left-hand side of your screen is the toolbar. What's cool about Illustrator is that everything in Illustrator is movable. So you can move this toolbar over here to the right side. There's no permanent spot for this toolbar. When they built the program, you couldn't move it, and it was always over here on your left. So by default, I guess designers have just gotten into a habit of their toolbar being over here on the left. And that's where I always recognize it. I don't know about that, but what you can do is you can make it one line. Up at the very, very top of the toolbar, you'll see a double arrow. Click on that, and you can make it a single line. That's a good question I don't know the answer to. And if you find out, I'll give you candy. Can you make it go horizontal? The toolbar. All right, don't look for it now, but when I let you go, you can look for it. Okay, so you can make it single line, but most times, again, historically, it's kept in two lines. Okay, so you got your artboard here, you got your toolbar on this side, and I'm begging you guys, don't play around with the tools, especially if your name is George. Okay, just follow me. The next part of Illustrator is this top portion up here, the very, very top. And these are your tabs. So when you hear me go to Object tab or go to Type, Window is one we go to a lot. Okay. A lot of stuff is going to be hidden up here as well. Next is the Help. Go ahead and click on Help. And click on Illustrator Help. So let's say there's something that you heard me say in class that you don't understand about Illustrator, or if there's a tool, if there's a button, if there's a brush, anything in Illustrator that you want to learn about, all you have to do is go here to the Help tab and do a search for it right here. So type in the word circle. Hit enter, and it's going to show you everything there is to know about a circle. Draw ellipses, number 4. It'll even take you to videos online about how to make circles. So again, instead of raising your hand and saying, teacher, how do I make a circle? All you got to do is go to Help, type circle, and it'll show you right there to walk you through it. Okay? All right, let's close out of that. The next section is this one here, and that's your options bar. Your options bar are for the tools on your toolbar. Each one of those tools on your toolbar then will have different options. So if you click on the little T symbol for your text, if you notice, it brings up text options. So for each one of these tools then it has different options, and it'll be located up there. The default tool in Illustrator, and this is really important, we're going to use this a lot. In fact, about 75% of the time, you're going to use this black arrow tool called the selection tool. And I go back and forth. Sometimes I call it the black arrow, sometimes I call it the selection, but that's what it is. It's the very first tool on your toolbar. That's the one you're going to use most often. So we got the toolbar, we got the tabs up here. Anytime you see an arrow underneath a tool, that means you can hold it down, and there are other tools underneath there that are similar to it. And we're going to get to that in just a second. But click back on your black arrow, because that's the one you're going to use 90% of the time pretty much. Alright, the last part of Illustrator are the windows. Your windows are located over here on the right hand side, and they're docked. Okay, so these little icons here, you can click on those, or you can double click on the top arrow, and that expands your dock. And the dock contains all these windows in here. So now, because these are windows, if you go to the window tab up at the top of your screen, you're going to hear me say this a lot as well. Go to window color, go to window this, go to window that. They're all located right up in here. If ever you see a check mark next to it, that lets you know that it's already active over here on the dock somewhere. You may not be able to find it because this dock has different tabs in the same window. So go to window color right now. Let's try that one. Go to window color. If there's already a check mark next to it, that lets you know that it's already up. And that's one that we use a lot in Illustrator, is window color. And again, you can click and drag. You can make this smaller. You can make it larger. You can stretch it out. Or you can just change it to icons by clicking on that double arrow right up at the top right hand corner right there. So we good?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so that's the basic workspace. Now, there may come a time where you start up Illustrator and something is gone or something doesn't look the same. Here's how you get it back. This is really important. If you go to Window, Workspace, go to Window, Workspace, and then over to Basic. It'll always readjust all of your windows back to where they were originally. Okay? So go to Window, Workspace, and then over to Basic. So if anything is ever closed or collapsed or anything like that, that's where it's located, right there. Okay? So we're about to take break. When we come back from break, then we're going to start making shapes and objects, and then you're going to have time. You're going to make a poster by the end of the day. Okay? So let's go to break.